This is Sammy Pierre Douay from Goat Whore, and you're watching CMS TV.
Yeah,
I've done it in the past. I've made a little money in the stock market. I've lost my ass in the stock market. So I'm not trying to say, listen to my advice at all.
it's just that, if you're a tech savvy person, that might be something to explore as an opportunity.
Sure.
Yep.
Well, it makes more sense than learning how to fix fucking computers. That day is done.
Yeah.
You can do that with Grok or whatever.
Yeah, it's a quickly changing world we live in. That's for sure.
Certainly is.
I notice that more and more now, as far as like the web browsers and stuff, everything is AI driven now.
Oh yeah, everything.
So it's just creeping in very quickly.
Well, it's what's amazing to me is how fast we've all, or a lot of people, not we've all, but a lot of people have moved away from Google. Like, I don't even use Google anymore. I don't know if you still do or not, but I do not. I use either Perplexity or Grok or one of those, whatever AI I have open on a screen. I just go to whenever I have any kind of a question because you get a better answer.
Right, of course.
You Google something, how do I do X, Y, and Z? And what do you get on it? You get 43 links. You put in the same question on Meta AI or Perplexity or whatever, and it says, okay, click here, then click here, then click here, then click here. It's like, all right, this is much better.
Yeah.
Much easier.
It's just like having your own personal consultant right there.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that's exactly what it is for everybody else, which means people that work in those fields are going to be gone if they don't know how to do it. That's why I'm becoming king of the prompts. That's all I do is learn prompting.
Yeah.
I take every single morning. I start with a 15-minute prompt writing class. I'm enrolled in a thing teaching me how to write prompts for everything, for digital, for images, for computer programming, for writing Python code, writing all you name it. I'm learning the prompts to do it, so that I can stay employed, not have to go fucking collect carts at Walmart or whatever.
Well, again, it's just interesting how everything comes full circle because, obviously decades ago, working with your hands was the main way of making work, making money and, making ends meet per se. And then, of course, after World War II, then it became more, college bound and, learning studies and things like that and getting away from, the blue collar type work.
Right.
And getting into being more executive and management and, that kind of a thing. And that's all going to go away. And now we're going to go back to, AI can't, fix a car. They can't
yet. I'm not putting it past any. I fully believe that with a webcam and some robotic tools, a car could be fixed by AI.
I'm sure, but I just using that as an example.
Sure.
But the whole, tech, the tech studies as far as like, being a fabricator or, welder, whatever, just something that actually takes a skill to do, that AI isn't going to quickly gobble that job up, but again, what would be the purpose of having a whole world that's just all AI and there's no sense in having human beings at all?
Well, then you can enslave them.
To do what?
You can go back to the old days like the Romans and whatever. You just have them be your entertainment. Your jesters getting killed by lions and shit.
But where is the revenue generated? That's the whole thing.
Will you need it? You won't need it. You'll just, as long as you got a strong AI army, you'll be fine. This episode of the CMS Network is brought to you by our sponsor, Blackout Coffee. If you are a coffee lover, you will love what they are selling over at Blackout Coffee. Make sure you get yourself some. The only thing woke about this company is the drinker of the coffee, because it gives you quite a jolt. I am a personal fan of the Brutal Awakening Dark Roast, but everybody's a little bit different. Make sure you get what is your favorite today. Go to blackoutcoffee.com. Use the promo code CHRIA20 to save 20% on your first order. It's that simple. So one more time, blackoutcoffee.com. That is the link, or use the full link if you're going to shop around. That is scrolling on the bottom, and get yourself some of the best coffee that is out there today. blackoutcoffee.com.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a weird, bizarre thought that, what am I supposed to do? How do you make a living, and what's the point of even existing?
Yeah, no, I agree. Believe me, I agree. I don't understand any of it. I don't understand why they want to make everybody poor except for them. Like we won't rebel against the rich. I mean,
right.
Come on. I don't understand that theory either, but they seem to be wanting to push that narrative too. So, okay, I guess that's why they want our guns, so we can't fight them.
I suppose. But yeah, it's a wild world we're heading into very, very quickly at an extremely rapid pace.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I watched some small documentary. I'm always interested in history and things, and I was watching a documentary on the interstate highway system that's here, and how I knew a lot about it, as it were, but I was just curious because it looked like a pretty cool video. It was all AI generated. It was, it was basically a man and a woman having a discussion between them about, the genesis of the interstate highway system that we have here in this country.
Right.
And it was exactly like that thing you did not long ago where there was two people talking.
Oh, yeah.
They were talking and, discussing it between them, and it was total AI. It was two AI bots discussing the interstate highway system.
Right.
It's bizarre, man.
Yeah. Well, and that is easy. You're talking about when I was messing around with, what is that called? I think Notebook LM or Google LM or something. When I was doing the podcasts, the 15-minute podcasts of like the news of the week or whatever. Yeah. And all you do with that is you say, here's 5 articles. Give me a 15-minute commentary between a man and a woman talking about these stories, and the woman should take a negative attitude and the guy should take a positive attitude, and then they just start talking about shit and arguing.
And that's basically how this worked. The woman was being very inquisitive, and the guy was explaining it to her, where it came from, and how General Eisenhower, with it when he was in the Army, he made the trek across the U.S. on U.S. 30, and when he became president, that he instituted the National Highway Act, which gave us our interstates that we have today. But it was just this discussion, and it was very clear that it was just 2 AI generated people having this discussion, which was kind of funny, and it's just like, holy shit.
Well, here's one of the ones that I did.
All right.
This is the Quick Kill Chronicles. This is on serial killer Chris Watts that killed his family.
Right.
All right. So today we're diving into a case that really, I think, it shook a lot of people when it happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's one that I think, it's important to look at not just kind of the surface level of what happened, but like, what are some of the things underneath? What are some of the things we can learn from it? It's the Watts family murders.
Right.
And so I think, a lot of people are familiar with like the basics of this case, but like to kind of set the stage, we have Chris Watts, who, outwardly seemed like,
I didn't write any of this.
Yeah. Well, this is exactly how that little documentary went. Yeah. Identical to it.
Sure. They might probably use the same program.
Probably.
All I did with this is said, here's 3 articles about the Chris Watts murders. study this and give me a 10-minute podcast on it. And it did. And then I threw this graphic on it. Yeah, it's crazy how fast this AI is just taking over the world.
Yeah, and nobody had to write that. Nobody had to, research it at all. Nobody had to, have a script or anything. It just does it,
Yeah. It just does it immediately, man. We've said for a lot of years that these smart devices are making us less smart. Well, this is definitely going to make, when you don't have to do any research at all on this. If the only thing I had to know was the name, Chris Watts, and as long as I could Google it and find 5 or 6 links or 3 links or whatever, that's all I had to do. I didn't have to tell it anything.
Right.
I just said, give me a 10-minute podcast on this, and it did. Took a minute. Done.
Well, when you think about the power of the AI and the immediacy of what it does, it's just like, boy, our usefulness as humans on this earth is becoming less and less important.
Yeah, it is. I know. Mean Metal X emailed me last week and asked me if I had thought about putting together some episodes of the CMS with AI. And I have thought about it.
Okay.
And at some point, I probably will do it just as a, I haven't gotten really great yet at the avatars, which would be the actual people videos. I'm not the best at it yet, but once I get really good at it, you better believe I will make a fat Chris and a Neeley, and I'll give it some topics, and I'll say, all right, Chris is going to argue every point that Neeley makes.
Okay.
And then I'll just let it go, and I'll put up some link to, here's Sebastian Bach saying he should be in Skid Row again or something. And you'll read some of the article, and I'll just come in and go, that's stupid. And meanwhile, me and you won't be anywhere near it.
Right.
It'll just be, so we'll, eventually I'll mess with it enough to try that at some point. Cause this is always my sandbox where I learn how to do everything.
Right, of course.
Here on the show. So, craziness.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Well, that'll be certainly interesting to see how that,
It might be scary. We might watch it. It might be better than what we do.
that is funny.
Brace yourself for the wildest ride of your life. It's the craziest book Chris Akin has ever written, and other things I should not say. Get ready for over 500 pages of pure, unfiltered debauchery. From his military years, Chris Akin spills the shocking stories of sex, partying, violence, and the stuff that's so wild it's probably illegal. You've heard the tales on the Classic Metal Show, but never like this. Don't wait. Get your copy now at chrisakin.net before the censors try to shut it down.